People think you have your life together, but they have no idea how much it's costing you to keep it that way. From the outside, it looks like discipline. Your house is handled, your schedule works, you're getting things done, staying on top of things, showing up the way you're supposed to. It looks like you have more energy than everyone else. Like you're naturally organized, consistent, just naturally on it. But what they don't see is the pressure behind it. The constant mental tracking, the running list in your head that never shuts off. The fact that you're not doing all of this because you have endless energy. You're doing it because not doing it feels worse.
And that's the part most people completely misunderstand. They look at you and think, I wish I had that kind of discipline. They assume you've figured something out that they haven't, like you've unlocked some level of motivation or consistency that they're missing. But what they're actually seeing isn't energy, it's pressure. It's the internal weight of knowing what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and what happens if it doesn't get done. And once you're aware of those things, it's really hard to ignore them. So when someone says, I cleaned my bathroom and I'm exhausted, how do you do all of this? They're asking the wrong question, because it's not about how you have the energy. It's about why your brain won't let you not do it.
For a lot of type A women, this isn't coming from motivation. It's coming from consequence. You've learned at some point that when things weren't handled, there's fallout. Maybe things get chaotic, maybe something important gets missed, maybe you'll end up paying for it later in a way that feels avoidable. So your brain builds a system to stay on top of it, stay ahead of it, and not to let it pile up. And that system works. It keeps things running and creates stability and makes you reliable. But it also creates a constant baseline of pressure that never really turns off. And that's why you don't feel like you have more energy than any other people. If anything, you feel more tired. But stopping doesn't feel like rest, it feels like risk. Because the second you drop something, your brain is already calculating what it's going to cost you later.
And this is where that I'll just do it myself pattern starts to take over. You like things done a certain way. You know how long it takes, you know what it looks like, you know what it looks like when it's done right. And instead of asking someone else, explaining it, or risking it not getting done the way you would do it, you just take it on. Not because you want more work, not because you love doing everything, but because it feels easier than dealing with the alternative. And over time, that decision gets reinforced again and again. So now it's not just that you're capable, it's that you've trained yourself to be the default. The one who handles it, the one who notices, the one who makes sure things don't fall through the cracks. And from the outside, that looks like you're put together. But internally, it means you're carrying everything.
This is why the exhaustion hits differently for you. It's not just physical effort, it's mental load. You're not just doing tasks, you're holding awareness. You're tracking what's done, what's not done, what's coming up, what might become a problem, and what needs attention next. And even when you're not actively doing something, your brain is still running in the background. And that's what makes it so hard to relax. That's why sitting still doesn't always seem restful, because the system is still on. So when people say, just take a break, it doesn't land, because the issue isn't time, it's the pressure you're carrying inside that time.
So here's the reframe, and this is where we shift this in a way that actually helps. You are not more disciplined than everyone else. You are not magically more consistent, and you're definitely not better at life. You've just built a system where the cost of not doing something feels higher than the effort of doing it. That's what's driving your behavior. And once you see that, it changes how you approach everything. Because now the goal isn't to keep it all together. The goal is to start questioning which of those things actually needs to be held at that level and which ones don't.
So here's what I want you to do this week. Not everything, not a full reset, just one small shift. Pick one thing you're currently staying on top of. Not because it truly matters at a high level, but because your brain has decided that it does. And instead of immediately handling it, let it sit a little longer than you normally would. Watch what happens internally. The urge to fix it, to complete it, to close the loop. That's the pressure. And the goal here isn't to ignore everything. It's to start separating what actually matters from what you've trained yourself to treat it like it does.
Because here's what most type A women realize when they finally start pulling back that pressure. They were never running on more energy than everyone else.
They were simply carrying more weight.
And if this is hitting a little too close to home, make sure you're subscribed because this is exactly what we're unpacking here.
And if you haven't watched the video on why you're carrying too much, start there because this is the next layer of that same pattern.
We'll see you in the next one.